balance. There's no balance there. I don't know why. Okay, my name is Nadia and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This week I was craving bagels, so I figured we would try making New York style bagels. I've never actually been to New York City, I've only ever been to the airport, but I have had a few really good bagels in my lifetime, and I've always wanted to try making them, so on that note, let's get cooking. I'm going to be making my bagels in a stand mixer fitted with a dough hook, and if you want to do it by hand, go for it, but you have been warned there's a lot of kneading involved in the process. In my mixer, I'm going to be adding the flour, brown sugar, white sugar, salt, yeast, and about 2 cups of water. I'm going to start it off on a low mixing speed, and then I'm just going to gradually increase so that we don't have flour going everywhere. Once everything's combined, you can transfer the dough to a work surface, and then you're going to knead for about 15 minutes. Or you can do what I did and just keep it in the mixer for about 10 more minutes. It's a lot easier, trust me. After about 10 minutes, I transfer the dough to my counter, and this is where I realized that the dough was a little bit wetter than it should have been. So I kneaded it for a bit with some flour and then divided it into 16 even balls. Then I kneaded them a little bit more, gave them a nice round shape, transferred them to a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and let them rise in the oven for about 1 hour. Once they doubled in size, I took them out of the oven and started shaping them. It was at this point that I realized I made a little bit of a mistake. I should have covered the dough with saran wrap or a dishcloth before putting it in the oven to rise because they dried out. It's nothing too crazy, there's just a thin layer of dry dough on top, which makes it look a little bit weird, and it's a mistake that could have been avoided, but I forgot. It happens. Or at least it happens to me. I don't know about you guys. It never happens to my mom. She's very on top of this stuff. It's just a me problem. Anyway, I used my finger to poke a hole in the center of the dough, which gave it a little more of a bagel shape. And then I also kept the dough covered with a dishcloth to keep it warm and prevent it from drying out. This kind of defeats the purpose of anything because technically they already dried out, but you know what? I did it to do some part of it correctly. It made me feel a little bit better. And also to show you guys, of course, so that you don't make the same mistake. So there you go. Once they were all shaped, I boiled a big pot of water, and right when it came to a simmer, I added some brown sugar, which is gonna help make these bagels nice and chewy. Then you're just gonna carefully place the bagels in the boiling water and let it boil on each side for about a minute. Then I just transferred them to a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and added some toppings. I sprinkled on some everything bagel seasoning, mozzarella cheese, sesame seeds, and then I also left a few plain. Then I popped them in the oven at 450 degrees for about 15 minutes, and there you have it, bagels. Here we have a sesame seed bagel. Literally all the sesame seeds fell off, but that's okay. And then I made a blueberry cream cheese, which is exactly what you think it is. I just whisked together some cream cheese and some fresh blueberries, and here we go. The bagel itself is really good. The blueberry cream cheese, nothing special. I could have lived without it. It's not bad. It's not a professional bagel by any means, but it's good. But the real question is it a New York style bagel? Like I said, I've never been to New York. I've never had a genuine New York style bagel, but I did find an article published on the New York Times asking bagel shop owners in New York City what makes a true New York style bagel. So let's see if I pass the test. According to these bagel shop owners, a true New York style bagel has a shiny crust with a little bit of hardness to it and a nice glaze. I want to say check. It could have been maybe a little bit more shiny. I don't really know how you get that shininess, but if it's pass fail, I'm going to give myself a pass. It should also not be sweet, and you should never find blueberries, jalapenos, or rainbow colors in your bagel. Okay, check. I didn't add any of those things to the bagels themselves. I did make some flavored cream cheeses, and I do like a bagel with some toppings. I like a little variety, little spice. So again, pass. New York style bagel should also have a hole and a generous amount of seeds on each side. That's like a half pass. I put the seeds on half the bagel. I just sprinkled them on top. If you wanted to, you could kind of dip the entire bagel, both sides, in a plate of sesame seeds or whatever topping you want, and that way the whole thing would be covered, but sprinkling on it's fine as well. They should be slightly well done. A bagel should be a bit of a struggle to bite into. I don't think my bagel, I think I failed at that one. It wasn't a struggle to bite into. It was actually really soft, and that's kind of what I like in a bagel. I like it to be an easy meal to eat. I don't need to be struggling, because it's also one of those foods that you take on the go sometimes. It's I don't want to be in public ripping apart a bagel with my teeth. I've never been to New York. Maybe that's just what they do, but I don't want to do that. They should also always be boiled and never steamed. Check, I did that. I don't even know how I would have steamed these, but boiling them was actually pretty easy. I could do like 4 at a time, and if you wanted to do a mass production, you could have a couple pots going all at once. But just as is, I'm content with it. Did I pass the New York Style Bagel Test? Yes. With flying colors? Absolutely not. I'm definitely not a professional, but these bagels turned out pretty good, and I actually really want to make more. Including the time it took to rise the dough, I would say all of this took me about 3 hours. 3 hours for 16 bagels, is it worth it? Maybe not. Was it fun? Absolutely. Would I do it again? Yes. My favorite bagel of all time is a blueberry bagel with blueberry cream cheese. So to be able to perfect that, I think would be really fun. But then also play around with different toppings and different ingredients that you could add into the bagels. I guess at that point it's not really a New York style bagel, but it could be a Nadia style bagel. You never know. That's all for me this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next Friday. Bye. Finish this bagel now. Cream cheese just melted everywhere. That was not at all what I wanted to say, but there it is. Bagels. Or you can do what I do. These bagel shop owners say that a true New York style cheesecake. We're not even making cheesecake. We're making bagel. I'm gonna say I passed the New York style bagel list. No. I'm gonna say I passed the New York